Hello once again and welcome to another Cajon lesson. Now today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. A few people have been asking about finger technique again and how to actually build up all the strength and speed that sometimes you require to play some of the grooves that I've been working with here. So today this is more of an exercise type of lesson, just something that I would really recommend just spending a lot of time on, and it's really helped me just build it up to a point where it becomes quite easy at higher speeds and getting that volume out of each finger stroke. So let's talk about that today. Let's get into it. Now this exercise and the variations that we're going to go through really sort of rely on being sort of rock solid at a tempo that you can do comfortably, rather than sort of a little bit unsteady at a tempo that's just a little bit out of reach. So the first thing that I recommend doing is, if you've got a smartphone, grab a metronome app. If you've got a physical metronome, get that going and pick something where you reckon you can do 16th notes just as normal strokes. 1 and 2 and then on top of that, can you do the 32nd notes, so twice as fast as finger rolls. So whether that's 60 beats per minute or 120, let's find somewhere where we can get started. So I've got my metronome set to 60 beats per minute, a nice, slow, fairly comfortable tempo, and the exercise is just half a bar, so 2 beats of the 16th notes, just full strokes, and then the second half of the bar, beats 3 and 4, are the 32nd note finger roll. So let's just play through that now, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. So 60 beats per minute is actually a tempo that I personally really need to work on with that finger roll. Just making those double stroke rolls between the fingers actually sound even. I still get a little bit wobbly when I slow down that much. It's kind of like when you ride a bike. It's hard to ride really slow, you get a little bit wobbly. But that's just where I'm coming from at the moment. That's why I'm sharing this today. That's what I've been working on. But some of the things that I'm trying to improve on myself is making it so that whether I'm playing just full hand strokes or the finger roll strokes, I'm getting a fairly level kind of volume between them, so that if I do play some kind of groove and I really rely on that finger roll to come through, then I've sort of spent the time practicing to make that strength come up in the fingers. So that's just one variation, doing the half and half bars. What we can work on now is sort of a full bar, and then a full bar of finger stroke, and all kinds of variations like triplets and things on top of that. So let's have a listen to some of those now. So here's 90 beats per minute, that's a nice medium tempo, but this time we'll do a whole bar of the 16th strokes, and then a whole bar of the 32nd note finger strokes. So this is 120 beats per minute. Now I'll try a few of those variations and sort of go between them sort of spontaneously. So we've got like 1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beats, whole bars. See what happens. So I struggled a little bit with that. It's one of those things that I do like to practice because you can just keep pumping that metronome further, it just gets more and more difficult. But breaking it up into different groups of 2s and 4s and whole bars, it makes it quite interesting to spend a fair bit of time on it at once. So the reason that we've been going for the 16 32nd note combination there is because the transition from those 16s to 32nds as finger rolls is quite intuitive in that you keep the same motion between the hands. It's just each stroke becomes a double stroke because of the fingers. Which means that when you do start to speed it up, keeping the tempo and all those types of factors become a little bit easier. But if you really want to focus just on working on those finger strokes, something else that you can do is try the same 16 and 32nd note combination, but make it all the finger rolls. So that's something else that you can work on if you really want to focus on that area in particular. And that's one that for me is really good with the metronome, just actually getting those finger stroke rolls in time and nice and even. Breaking it down that way and keeping the 2 different speeds has really helped on that for me too. So there's one way to work on those finger rolls and build up that strength and speed. Now, another thing to think about is our left hand, or if you're right-handed, your left hand. Either way, most of us have one hand that's a little bit weaker than the other, and one tends to dominate. For me, that's the right hand. So another thing that I like to do when I'm working on building up the strength and the speed is playing patterns leading with the right and then playing patterns leading with the left. So whether that just be a group of 2 beats or whatever, or actually like a 5-stroke roll, we can work on that in the same kind of exercise. So let's start with some little 5-stroke rolls. So right, right, left, left, right, and then left, left, right, right, left. So that little 5-stroke roll is just an easy way to get into letting your non-dominant hand lead the pattern every now and then. And what that does is it definitely brings it up closer to the level of your dominant hand, so in speed and in strength. And we can definitely extend that into longer groups, so it might be a whole bar leading with the right, then a whole bar leading with the left. Let's just see how that sounds. And I do have one more idea for this video on building up strength and speed in finger rolls, and that is to place them into grooves in a way that the groove would just kind of fall apart if they weren't there. So when you place that kind of importance on the finger rolls, you really hear when they're not loud enough or they're not consistent enough. So that's something that's really forced me into practicing them a lot more. So let's have a listen to a few examples. And that is my 3 favorite exercises for building up strength, speed, endurance, all that good stuff for the finger roll technique. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you've got any other suggestions, you can think of something better, definitely leave me a comment in that comment section down below. I'll be around to those comments, replying as much as I can. So if you want to keep up with my new videos as they come out, be sure to subscribe to the channel to see what's coming out next. And yeah, of course, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.